Okay, so here we have an example of an animation blocking pass. According to the script, we have 3 cameras. Camera 1 is a close-up. Camera 2 will be him walking away. And camera 3 will be him walking towards camera. Just a simple 10-second sequence, 10 seconds, 30 frames per second, 300 frames. Okay, so that part's already set up. Now, for an animation blocking pass, all you're going to do is set up very rough animation. All it is basically a very simple blocking of the animation. No animation on the fingers, secondary motion, hair blowing in the wind, that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to grab the global control, let's say 30 frames, 1 second. He comes into frame. So there he's in frame. Now, after he comes into frame, we want him to turn his head. So from the beginning until here, his head is still. And then, let's say, on frame 50, we want him to look at the camera. So he comes in, stops, looks at camera, and let's say 65 frames. He turns his head again, reset a key, and then he'll start moving on. So there's camera 1. Boom. Okay. And then let's say frame 80. We're going to grab the global control again, and he's going to move out of frame. So now that first blocking pass is done. So he comes in, and see how he keeps on sliding by. We want him to stay in front of the camera for a little bit. So we're going to have him come in, look at camera, and then walk away. So if we play that back, excuse me, let's play it from camera 1. He comes in, he looks, and he walks away. Okay, at that point, you're going to switch it over to camera 2. Now camera 2, you're not really going to see a whole lot because you're just, that first sequence, you're going to render those 80 frames, and then it's going to pick up right where camera 1 left off. So you may have to adjust your camera again. So it's still a medium shot. Okay, now at this point, he is still going to be walking forward. So at frame 80, he hasn't really moved too much. So let's grab that global control just so he's keeping on moving. Well, let's say we want this sequence to last until frame 170. So, and then he's out of the shot. So that's going to get us from there to there. Now in between here, let's get those arms moving. Let's rotate that arm back, that arm forward. We'll say by 130, we'll move this arm back and this arm forward. And then 160, this arm back and this arm forward. So now we've got him just kind of do. All right, we might want to add a little extra there. Let's give it a little more motion, just so there's some follow through. It's just going to be extremely rough, just so and see, when it picks up at frame 80, he's already moving his arms, so it really doesn't matter what he's doing back here as long as it's moving for that other shot. And then same thing with the legs. Let's just kind of get them moving. Let's say it starts here. This one starts here. By frame 90, let's move that one there. And that one there. Then we're going to move that one back. Move this one forward. Then 160, we'll move that back. We'll move that forward. And you already know that he's going to be walking, running, basically repeating the same motion for the entire sequence. So you can go ahead and animate what you would be animating for the rest of the sequence too, if you really want to. So it's just very rough. You're not really looking for refined animation here. It's just real basic, real simple. It's basically a very rough moving version of the storyboard. I mean, you can try to make them look happy or angry. I mean, you're still trying to communicate what's in the storyboard. But refined animation will come later on down the line. This is just to give the director a idea of where the characters are in the scene, what they're doing. I mean, if they're picking something up, you'll show them picking something up. If they're interacting with another character, they'll be interacting with another character. All of those kind of things. Now you can go back, and if you want to, I mean, most of the time you're going to want to, because otherwise it looks kind of goofy, but you can go back in, add a little bit of motion to the forearms. And not everything has to be equal, obviously, because not everybody walks exactly the same. And for the animation blocking pass, you could even use motion capture if you really want to, but it's just to give a rough idea of what's going on. And you'll definitely want to go back and make sure that the feet are connecting the ground plane and that kind of thing. But see right there, it doesn't really matter because nobody's going to see that part. So it doesn't matter if he's sliding a little bit. This one's going to be extremely rough. But like I said, it's more about communicating what's in the storyboard than perfect animation. So there you go. I mean, you can continue tweaking things a little bit if you really want to. But when you get done, you should have him walking towards camera. So the entire sequence, we've got him coming in, looking, walking, walking off, and then it would switch to camera 2, and he's walking along, walks out of frame, comes up to camera 3, and he's walking along, and we lost the camera motion. So this is where blocking comes in for sure, because you can always go back in and adjust it. So this was supposed to be a long shot that has him walking toward camera. So there we go. So there's the basic sequence. Animation blocking, I mean, you'll have the props in there, the other environment, gray box, just blocking out where the buildings are, where other characters are, where the props are. They won't be the final models. Animation blocking is just a very rough pass. That's all it is. And then there you go. And then he walks towards camera and boom, fade out and you're done. So I hope this helps and makes sense. If you have any further questions, just let me know. And I will be happy to answer any other questions. Have a great day.